It's 9:05 at 97.5 Glory FM. And welcome once again to the Saturday Morning Sports Show. And hi, everyone. I'm Mike Wofford. Welcome to 97.5 Glory FM from the NGPG Sports Center. It's the Saturday Morning Sports Show. I'm with you until 10 o'clock this morning as we bring you high school, college, and pro sports action on the local scene. And we got a lot to talk about this morning. High school football with just 2 weeks left on the regular season schedule here in North Georgia. Our broadcast game last night saw history being made for Lakeview Academy as the Lions win last night over the Eagles of Athens Christian by a final of 38-11. You'll hear the highlights of that game later on the show here on 97.5 Glory FM. Great calls last night from Joe Gailey and Harper LaBelle and Gary Glenn, bringing the play-by-play coverage of high school football action from last night. Also around the area last night of the games that really were important in Region 6 AAA. North Hall now 1 win away from capturing their first region championship since 2012 as they were a winner over Lumpkin County 21-16. Also in that same region last night, Dawson County with a 2-point win over Chestatee by a final of 22-20. It was Pickens rolling by Johnson 62-6. White County falls to Greater Atlanta Christian 28-23. Going back to Thursday night in Region 8 AAA, the only game in that region saw Cherokee Bluff, undefeated, ranked number 4 in the state, defeat the number 9 ranked team from Oconee County 17-10 down in Watkinsville. Also from last night in Region 7, Quinte, Gainesville High back on the winning track after falling to number 1 ranked Milton. They were victorious last night over Chattahoochee with a big second half for Big Red as they win by a final of 55-26. Also in that same region, Gainesville's next opponent, Roswell, they were a winner last night over Lanier in that region. We turn also in that region, we'll hopefully get a chance to talk to Coach Tony Lotti, former head coach at West Hall and at Appalachia. I believe they had their first ever region victory last night for the Secondary Jaguars as they were victorious last night in their ball game against Johns Creek. In Region 8 Quad A play last night, what an exciting game it was. You heard from Coach Jason Tester of Fly Branch on the Friday program we called Final Score between 11 and midnight last night, talking to as many coaches as possible after the game last night. And Coach Tester's Fly Branch Falcons, they were victorious over Walnut Grove 2017 in overtime, as it was Walnut Grove missing a potential game-winning field goal as time expired in regulation. The game was tied at 14-14, and then it was the Falcons winning in overtime 2017. Details about that in just a few minutes here on the Saturday Morning Sports Show. Also around the area, it was East Forsyth falling to East Side of Covington 42-7 in that ball game. Scores and winners over in Forsyth County in their region, in Region 6A. It was West Forsyth, the winner over North Forsyth. The Lambert, they were victorious over Forsyth Central, and it was Denmark down in South Forsyth in that region. Over in Jackson County, and games in different classifications. First off, in Region 8 Quinte, Jackson County getting closer to getting a playoff berth in that region as they were winners last night over Windabara. In Class AA play, Region 8 AA, it was East Jackson. They were falling last night in their ball game to, let's see, yep, it was, I'll tell you more about that in just a minute. Get the right score here from that one for you, with East Jackson falling last night. Also in, let's see, in Jackson County, Commerce, they were victorious over Oglethorpe County, winning a big win in that one for the Tigers, winning 55-14 from last night. I think it was Prince Avenue Christian defeating East Jackson last night in that region over in Jackson County. Banks County gets their first win of the season as they were victorious last night over Providence Christian Academy there in Region 8A action. Also, and around the area, it was Beaufort with a huge first half as they jumped out to a 50-0 lead over Central Gwinnett at halftime. That was the final score, with the Wolves winning by a final score of 50-0, the final in that ball game. Also, around the area, let's see, we got other scores we'll get hearing from Coach Tony Lotti. I'll be talking to him in just a few minutes here on the Saturday Morning Sports Show. See, about really the big scores we got around the area. Coming up next, we'll hear about last night's ball game. It was a GIAA matchup between Lakeview Academy and Athens Christian. I will tell you a couple of the scores. It was George Walton Academy defeating Riverside Prep last night, and also Lanier Christian gets another win as they were victorious over Cherokee Christian by a final of 17-10. We'll hear about the highlights from last night's ball game coming up next here on 97.5 Glory FM with the Saturday Morning Sports Show.
If you need to communicate to a lot of people, you need Gainesville Signs and Graphics. They are a full-service sign company. From consultation through construction, they'll handle all aspects of your sign needs. Political signs, banners, magnetics, monuments, subdivision and street signs, as well as vehicle and storefront graphics. So trust your sign needs to Gainesville Signs and Graphics. Check out their website at GainesvilleSignsandGraphics.com or call 770-533-5700.
Your home is part of you, and keeping it comfortable and well-maintained is essential. Conditioned Air Systems is North Georgia's solution for residential heating, air, and plumbing services. For more than 40 years, our family has been committed to delivering the highest quality service by our certified technicians and plumbers. Experience the difference today when you choose Conditioned Air Systems for your home's heating, air, and plumbing needs. Quality you can feel, service you can trust. Visit ConditionedAirSystems.com to schedule an appointment.
Injuries are never planned and often happen after hours or over the weekend. That's why NGPG Orthopedic and Sports Medicine offers the Black and Blue Walk-In Clinic for injured athletes every Monday morning in their offices in Gainesville, Brazelton, Buford, Bushton, and Jefferson. No need to call. Just walk right in between 8:30 and 11:30 on Monday mornings. And one of their sports medicine and orthopedic doctors will be there to help identify, treat, and care for your injury. To learn more, you may visit ngpg.org/blackandblue.
Innovation at Jackson EMC.
To me, innovation is taking technology and doing something new with it.
I'm working with a global company. We're helping them be able to reduce their carbon footprint through some of our programs.
Here at Jackson EMC, we embrace innovation, such as solar power, electric vehicle programs, energy-efficient right choice homes. Jackson EMC, innovation for today, innovation for tomorrow.
And back in the Saturday Morning Sports Show on 97.5 Glory FM. 12 minutes past 9 o'clock. I'll be talking to Coach Tony Lottie in about 5 minutes from now. Let's go back to last night's ball games. You heard right here on 97.5 Glory FM. It was Lakeview Academy celebrating homecoming as they were victorious over Athens Christian, 38-11. The Lions looking for a record-setting 8th win in the season. No other team in program history has ever won 8 games in a season, as they were winners last night a big way, 38-11. But in the first quarter of the first series, it was the team from Athens Christian coming down. They ended up kicking a field goal, taking a 3-0 lead. But then here come the Lions coming right back storming with their next play.
Squats down, takes it, looks to pitch. Then he takes it himself. 5, down to the 3, and stopped right there. Touchdown, Lakeview!
After that point, they never trailed it in the ball game as they continue scoring. They had 5 different touchdowns last night, and it seemed like everyone in the team was involved.
Birch takes it, rolls out to the far side, looks, got a man open, complete, touchdown Lakeview.
Then they kept building onto that lead there in the second quarter of play.
Watch down does Birch. Birch going to hand off no, he's going to pass this time. Throws it right on the top. Got Junior at the 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Lions!
You can see everybody getting involved. That one, Junior Thompson scores the touchdown on the pass play there from Birch. And the Lions continuing to get the big lead there at halftime. Then going into the second half play, they kept on scoring.
Birch hands it off to Dykes. Dykes goes through. 45-40. Gonna go. Could go all the way, and he will. Touchdown, Lakeview.
You can see how explosive the Lions were at times in the game last night against Athens Christian. They had one more touchdown coming in the fourth quarter.
Snap to Birch. Going to roll out to the near side. Going to throw it over to number 14, Jacob Kelly. Touchdown, Lakeview.
That was all the scoring from last night as they end up winning the ball game by a score of 38-11. They also had a field goal in the game last night, but a big victory for them. I talked with Coach Lee Coleman after the game last night on the final score and talking about ramifications there in the GIAA. Now, we mentioned last night, Lakeview Academy is in a little different situation than the other schools in the area, and with their game last night, as they were playing Athens Christian, they being Lakeview Academy, the only AAA team in District 4 AAA Quad A because of the way the state of Georgia is set up in the GIAA, as they set it up really by regions with the different schools in the area. So, for example, you got Lakeview Academy, a AAA school. The other opponents in their region, the other 8 teams they play, are all Quad A schools. Higher enrollment in those schools, including Riverside Prep, Bethlehem Christian, also Loganville Christian, their next opponent coming up next week as they'll wrap up the regular season at home next Friday night. And they play 5 other schools they play in Class Quad A, but it all counts in their region. And then they end up playing with the other GIAA schools in Class AAA, mainly in Middle Georgia and in South Georgia, and they use the power rankings just like the Georgia High School Association now is using. With that, Coach Coleman said right now they're looking at a number 3 seed going into the state playoffs, but there was a huge upset last night as Deerfield Windsor defeated Volwood down in South Georgia. So that means that the Lions will, looks like more than likely have a home game in the first round of the state playoffs. Because of the Hurricane Helene, they pushed the season back a week in the GIAA. Lakeview Academy will play their last game of the season at home next week against Loganville Christian. Then they'll take November 1st off while schools in Middle Georgia and South Georgia conclude their season. But then, so they get a week off, then they're back in action on November the 8th. And because of pushing the season back a week, the GIAA decided to go ahead and sort of shrink the playoffs down to an 8-team playoff in Class AAA. So with that, with the power rankings right now, the Lions are one of the top 4 teams, which would get a home game in the first round of the state playoffs, the quarterfinal round coming up on November the 8th. Then they would play 2 more weeks after that. So the day after Thanksgiving would end up being the state championship for the local team. It could be Lakeview Academy because they have done such an outstanding job playing there in this district. The only loss in the district came to Bethlehem Christian, which is undefeated on the season. They won their game last night against Piedmont. Of course, we'll follow the Lions right here on 97.5 Glory FM. We'll bring you that game in the first round of the state playoffs on November the 8th if they are at home, because the GHSA will not be playing that week here in North Georgia because of the Hurricane Helene damage that took place down in East Central, Central, and South Georgia. And so just like in the GIAA, you'll have teams in the southern and central part of the state wrapping up their season. So the teams here in our local area that we look are going to make the playoffs, they won't play until the 8th. In fact, they won't play until the 15th of November. So we'd have Lakeview Academy on the 8th. Then we'll go back to our public school teams. And right now, looks like North Hall will be the Region 6 AAA champions. All they need to do is win 1 game, and they're at home for the last 2 games of the regular season. At home against Johnson, they can clinch the region championship. Then we'll have their broadcast on November the 1st at home against Dawson County to wrap up the regular season. Then we follow the Trojans in the first round of the state playoffs on November 15th. Also, teams will making the state playoffs right now. Cherokee Bluff, undefeated on the season. They've got a game at Jefferson next Friday night, but they're going to be in the state playoffs because of the power rankings. Also, Flowery Branch doesn't have to worry about the power rankings, and they can finish number 4 in their region after winning their game last night. I'll tell you much more about that and much more. Talking about history being made last night at Lakeview Academy. Coming up next, we'll talk with Coach Tony Galati, the head coach of Seconder High there near the Hall County line in North Gwinnett County. We'll talk to him about history being made last night for his Jaguars and more, as they're in the same region with Gainesville High. They had a big win last night as they defeated Johns Creek. You'll hear from Coach Galati and more as we continue with the Saturday Morning Sports Show. Coming up next on 97.5 Glory FM.
This is Matt Nix, president of Duplicating Products, where we're proud to celebrate 50 years of serving North Georgia. Since 1974, Duplicating Products has been dedicated to providing top-quality office solutions and exceptional service. Our success would not have been possible without the support of our incredible community and loyal customers. Thank you for being an important part of our journey. Find out more about us at duplicatingproducts.com/thank you.
It's flu season in North Georgia, and now is the time to take care of yourself and get your flu shot at Riverside Pharmacy. Nobody wants to be hit with the flu bug, but if you haven't had your shot yet and you've been bitten with the flu, the pharmacists at Riverside Pharmacy in Gainesville can help you too. They can fill your prescription with expert care and have you up and going before you know it. And they're your headquarters for all of your over-the-counter needs. Riverside Pharmacy across the street from City Park, serving Gainesville for over 60 years.
Hey, it's Coach Mark Richt here. Everyone knows defense wins championships. And if you're not using EMC Security to defend your home and family, you need to step up your game. They're who I use for home security and cameras, and you should too. I've scouted them all, and there's no better choice. With EMC Security's no contract and local service, they are a clear number one. So give them a call or visit them online at emcsecurity.com. That's emcsecurity.com.
20 minutes past 9 o'clock on 97.5 Glory FM. We go to the phones now and talk to your friend Tony Lottie, the head coach of the Seconder Jaguars, making history last night. Tony, good morning. Congratulations, buddy.
Hey, thanks, Mike. Good morning. Yeah, it's a big night, big home win for us.
So talk about the importance of that win last night for us, Tony.
Well, it's, us being a new school and everything, and this being the first year of region play, actually getting in there and playing region. So, to win your first region football game is a big deal, especially in your first year in region and the region that we're in. I mean, we're in a loaded region right out of the gate. So, for us to come out and play as well as we did last night and get that first region win was pretty big.
You're in Region 7 Quinte. You've got number 1 ranked Milton. You've got Gainesville. You also have Roswell, and Gainesville and Roswell play next week. And then Chattahoochee gave Gainesville a big first half of play last night before the Elephants had a big second half. And you got Chattahoochee next week. And so you don't really have much time to celebrate, but I know how you are. You're working hard about it. But, the whole process, Tony, from where Seconder started where they are now, it's a big story.
Well, I mean, I think so. I hope so. The kids have bought into what, kind of what I wanted to do there when I got there last year. Excuse me, as far as, trying to establish and build the culture of what we wanted to do and who we were going to be and those types of things. And, so it is. It's a big deal. And like you said, our region's just so tough. And we ended up, the way we drew it was we had to play Roswell, Milton, and Gainesville back-to-back. And just when I thought, okay, that can't get any worse, it's almost like the good Lord said, well, hold on a second. So we had a hurricane, and then we had to play Milton on Monday and turn around and play Gainesville on Friday the same week. So having a bye week last week was big for us to be able to maybe see about getting some kids back. We were beat up pretty good. But it's one of those things, like you said, Chattahoochee, this morning, and I got to do a better job of trying to enjoy wins when you get them. They don't come often, and it's one of those things that here I'm already worried about Chattahoochee. Probably need to do a little better job of enjoying the moment when I have one.
Hey, you know as well as I do, but you're not promised tomorrow, so go ahead and enjoy what happened last night. You know it?
Yes, that's the thing I've got to do a better job of for myself, to be honest with you. To get a first region win in school history, and that gives us 5 wins on the season. So, I try to win these small battles. It guarantees this be the first non-losing season for Seconder too, as well. So, and each week gets more important, right? We're still in the playoff hunt, and, looking to get that winning season and to get into the playoffs.
That's the big thing now. If you can defeat Chattahoochee, you're in the driver's seat to get the number 4 spot, aren't you?
Yeah, we control our own destiny at this point. These last 3 games were huge for us. So, and the way everything plays exactly right now, because it's one of those things that literally we win the next 2 now, and we'll get the 4 seed. So it's always good to be in the driver's seat of your own destiny, obviously. But it's one of those things, too, that, here we are, first year in region play, and we've got 2 games left. We're at the end of the season, and they're very important games. A lot of times when you first get into region play as a new school that, you hope to get to the end of the season and it still matter, right? And
oh, sure.
So for us, it does 100%.
Yeah, I don't think you were playing, though, going up a classification and then getting put into the same region with those 3 powerhouses with Milton and Roswell and Gainesville.
Yeah, it was, when the classification came out, I was like, okay, here we go, straight into the fire, so to speak. But it's kind of like I told my kids after that stretch of 3, I said, I promise you it made us better. And I think we showed a little bit of that last night, able to get a few kids back from injuries and we came out fast, and we played fast and played physical, and that was good to see.
We're talking with head coach Tony Lottie of the Seconder Jaguars, and for our listeners here in the Gainesville area and Hall County area, Seconder could be just almost like a Hall County school there. I guess you're Mulberry now. I guess they could call the city there, and just across the county line, just near Cherokee Bluff.
Yeah, it's I still live in the same. Debbie and I still live in the same house when I was the head coach at West Hall. So, Seconder is 6 miles from my house, so that makes the long hours a lot easier to get back and forth whenever I do get to come home. But it's just right here, Hamilton Mill, right here on Sardis Church. So there is a cut through, and you're there.
All right, so tell everybody, too, about the grind. And here we are, and people who don't know your story, you've gone through brain surgery, and you've gone through a great story from that standpoint. But I know that will wear you out as older as we get. And then you still put in the same kind of hours. You get home by, what, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning?
Yep, that's about right.
Uh-huh.
And yesterday was a busy day. I had a brain MRI in the morning. And then got to school after that. And one of the things I'm working on too is trying to we have some signage needs on the back side of our school. There's a road there, and Monday I had another player who was in an accident, T-boned right there, and so kind of getting some of my congressmen's involved and whatnot. I got a meeting Monday morning, so there's a lot of stuff that goes on even outside of the grind of being the head football coach. Trying to do everything you can for the kids and to make things obviously first off safe. But yeah, you get out of the field house late, and Saturday mornings are always rough because I try to see if I can get to one of our youth games that may be going on, if I can fit that in, and then Sunday after church, we're up there meeting, trying to game plan and also get the plan set for Monday's practice. So it's a grind, and for us, we start school at 6:40 in the morning at Seconder, so we're on that early schedule. So a typical game day, you start at 6:40 in the morning, you get home at 2 o'clock in the morning. That's a long day. It can kind of take its toll by the time you get to this point of the season.
What time do buses roll, Tony?
They're early. I don't know. I wonder that too.
I thought I got up early.
Gosh, I know. I don't know what time. I know this. The last bus arrives at Seconder by 6:45.
Oh my goodness!
So there is no tell. Now the plus side of that,
you get through
school
early?
bell ends at 2:10, right?
Right.
But here's the funny thing: on game days, the kids get out at 2:10. Well, we don't play till 7:30. So my singing and dancing skills are just pretty limited when it comes to keeping them occupied for that amount of time from the time school gets out until we actually play. So trying to make sure we adjust to that. But Friday becomes a long day for the kids as well.
Well, so how do you get the student body involved in wanting to come back on Friday night after getting out of school that early?
Well, that's a great question. And our AD has done a great job with helping with that and, getting the student body involved in it. We had another great student section last night. And so it's been really big, especially in our home games. And we've traveled well, too. The parents have done a good job of making noise for us in the stands when nobody else has been there. So it's great to see that. It's great to see, our softball team swept Pope yesterday in the first round of the playoffs, and our volleyball team was in the state tournament. All our programs are doing really well. As a matter of fact, Coach Delapierre, Coach Laura, she's our volleyball coach, and she came out of Hall County as well, and she's done a great job with building that volleyball program in the youth, and Coach Cameron Crawford and what he's done with our softball team, in just a short period of time. So, just building that culture, and all the head coaches there, we really get along well with each other and try to support each other. It's funny for me on game night, Mike, I'm of course, all the stuff I'm doing, and I look over, and our volleyball coach is running crazy back and forth, setting up stuff for officials. And, you see our head basketball coach, he's running back and forth and helping with game day operations. And it's just really a cool thing to see how everybody's supporting each other.
And Seconder is a pretty big school, and you get a lot of people, a lot of athletes to choose from. At the same time, you got to do a sales job and say, hey, you'll be a part of this program.
Well, that's the thing, and my first year last year, of course, me, I spend time in the hallways and talking to kids and trying to get them out. And, there was a lot of kids that went out that first year and, it didn't go well. I mean, 280 to 12 is what they were outscored, so a lot of kids didn't want to play. And so, just trying to let them see who I am and who our staff is and what we were going to do and get kids to come out. And, we're an AI school, which, I'm still learning all those intricacies about that and how that curriculum works for the kids as far as the future readiness programs. And so it's one of those things that, you just try to build those relationships, and that's what I'm about, me, and build those relationships that last. It was cool for me last weekend. I went to Zach English's wedding. Zach was my quarterback at West Hall when I first took over there in 2012. And, when my weekends are booked up, getting to go, matter of fact, Izzy last night, he's getting married. My kicker from West Hall, one of my kickers, he's getting married the night we play Lanier, and I was joking with him and his fiance because they were at the game last night. And I was like, "Why would you know better than get married on a game night
during football season? Nothing else,
during football season." So we were joking about it, and I was like, I would be there. And for me, when my weekends are packed with going to weddings and meeting new family babies of guys who played for me, then that just is such a blessing.
Oh, absolutely. And of course, Coach English now, the head baseball coach at West Hall, and getting married last week and living the dream. Give you an idea, on Wednesday, Lily celebrates her second wedding anniversary. And her husband's in Austin not watching. He and his dad and his uncles are all there watching Georgia and Texas tonight.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Lily, that's the thing, Mike. I keep trying to tell myself I'm not getting old, and I guess I'm really fooling myself because I am old. Because, like Lily, like you said, she's married, and I remember her coming into my office at West Hall, when she was young, and you see all these kids. So it's like I've had to come to the realization, well, I'm not getting old. I'm there. I am old, and but I figure if I get to the point that I coach, because I've got kids on my staff. I say kids. I got guys on my staff that I coached in high school, and that's such a huge blessing.
Cameron
for me.
Shirley.
It means a lot to me. Cameron Shirley, who played for me at West Hall, Jordan Adams, who played for me at Union Grove, and there's so many that you tie those things in together. And like I said, I keep telling myself, well, I must be getting old, but no, I think I'm there, Mike. I think
guess what, buddy?
I got to realize I am old.
Tony, I'm older than you. Okay.
Well, that makes me feel better.
I hope so, man. Hey, take care of yourself. Would you please? I know you're tired this morning, and I'm always concerned about your health. And good to talk to you, friend. You're welcome anytime. We'll have breakfast sometime, okay? You just let me know. Say I'll come and eat.
I do miss going to breakfast, so we got to do that soon.
You're always welcome, friend. Let me know, okay?
All right.
I'll be best, man. Take care. Tell Debbie, hey, we got much more for you coming up next here on 97.5 Glory FM as you're tuned to the Saturday Morning Sports Show.
Siphon Logistics' commitment is to provide you, the customer, with on-time pickup and delivery every time. Members of the Siphon family have been in the transportation business since 1984. The Siphon Logistics transportation professionals are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, providing maximum flexibility and options to produce the most successful shipping arrangements. Call Siphon Logistics at 770-287-8485 and take a look at their website at siphonlogistics.com.
Here I am on the road again, ready to pick up the kids from school, go by the grocery store, and do all the things a busy mother does. It's because I just left North Hall Tire and Wheel, where they made sure I was ready to go. They put on a fresh set of tires, checked the brakes, and even the battery. I know I can trust Mike and Matt and the guys at North Hall Tire and Wheel. They have everything you need, all the name brand tires at the best prices, and the service you need. They're on Cleveland Highway in Gainesville, so give them a call at 770-297-5308.
On-time service and experience matter for your home's heating and air system. For more than 40 years, Conditioned Air Systems has been North Georgia's solution for residential HVAC installation, maintenance, and repair. Family-owned and operated, we deliver the highest quality service on any brand and model with no hidden fees, promising 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Comfort you can feel, quality you can trust. Visit conditionedairsystems.com to schedule an appointment.
Injuries are never planned and often happen after hours or over the weekend. That's why NGPG Orthopedic and Sports Medicine offers the Black and Blue Walk-In Clinic for injured athletes every Monday morning in their offices in Gainesville, Brazelton, Buford, Houston, and Jefferson. No need to call. Just walk right in between 8:30 and 11:30 on Monday mornings. And one of their sports medicine and orthopedic doctors will be there to help identify, treat, and care for your injury. To learn more, you may visit ngpg.org/blackandblue.
At Jackson EMC, we embrace innovation. The new ideas in our industry that lead to better use of resources and improved ways of conducting business.
To be an innovative cooperative, I believe we always have to be looking at how we are handling our member experience.
Innovation is really important to Jackson EMC. It's our role to really make sure we're on the cutting edge of these new changes in technology that are coming to the power sector.
Jackson EMC, innovation for today, innovation for tomorrow.
We're back on 97.5 Glory FM talking with one of the doctors from NGPG Ortho and Sports Medicine. We're talking with Dr. Brett Meeks, one of the surgeons there. And Dr. Meeks, enjoyed talking with you last time. Tell me about some of the more specific injuries that you see people that walk into your clinic there in Gainesville.
Sure. Thanks, Mike. I think one of the most common injuries I see as a sports medicine surgeon is certainly an ACL tear, an ACL rupture. It's one of the most common surgeries I perform is ACL reconstruction, and that's very common during football and basketball season, but really any cutting and pivoting sport. So including lacrosse, volleyball, soccer. These are very common injuries, and they certainly get a lot of press. Whether that's with high school, collegiate, and even professional athletes. But typically, we see those injuries, and the goal is to have the patient appropriately rehabbed, have the swelling down. Sometimes we send patients to physical therapy before surgery just to make sure their motion's appropriate. And we like to get those folks into the operating room within usually 3 months of the injury, but oftentimes much quicker than that. So we like to try to get those folks back to competing and getting back to what they love to do as soon as possible.
Do we see the different injuries, say, in girls basketball players and boys basketball players? So with the twisting, we've seen girls just barely move from left to right, and all of a sudden the knee just goes. Or with a guy, they may be diving for a basketball, for example, and all of a sudden they start grabbing their knee. Something like that might happen or a rebound. They may land wrong, and all of a sudden it seems like the knee might pop, that kind of thing. What do you usually see when it comes to that?
Yeah, typically, I think, a landing, twisting injury with sort of we call it a valgus moment to the knee, where the knee starts to kind of go in towards the midline with the foot planted. That's a very common mechanism of injury. There are certain anatomic factors that can predispose patients to injuries, but I think really just that kind of pivoting, twisting injury, whether male or female, it's just kind of that right movement that can tear the ACL. And most athletes will report that they hear a loud pop in the knee, followed by immediate pain and swelling. A lot of times difficulty bearing weight, and so that's probably the most common story that we hear from our athletes.
Are there different treatments for maybe a slight tear compared to a total tear of one of the ligaments?
Yeah, so typically, I would tell you far and away the most common thing we see is a complete ACL rupture. But there are scenarios where the ACL can be partially torn, but then the question becomes, is it functionally competent, right? So a lot of times if it's over 2/3 torn, it's really not doing its job as far as preventing that sort of movement of the shin bone towards the front. It can't control the knee like it's supposed to, and so in those folks, we basically consider that as a complete ACL tear, even though it's for all intents and purposes over 2/3 torn. So that's something that if we try to treat that conservatively and they're still having pain and instability, then that's something we can evaluate with an arthroscopic procedure, but ultimately usually ends up with an ACL reconstruction during surgery.
All right, and you can do the reconstruction arthroscopically, right?
That's correct, yeah. So the arthroscopic part basically means we make small, minimally invasive poke holes, whether it's in the knee or the shoulder, and we put a camera into the knee joint or the shoulder joint, and we're able to kind of drive that camera around and use instruments through all these different portals, and that helps us try to be as minimally invasive as possible, but still be able to do everything we need to do inside the knee or the shoulder.
And that helps with rehab too, right?
That's correct. Yeah. So, there's been a lot of advancements with the arthroscopic surgery, and a lot of studies basically show with whatever procedure you're talking about, whether it's a rotator cuff or ACL surgery, a lot of times patients can recover quicker as opposed to a big open procedure with a large incision.
So what's the common recovery time for an athlete, and do you let them go back into their particular sport after so many weeks or months?
Yeah, so just using the most common example of an ACL reconstruction, recovery time it's a long road with an ACL reconstruction. It's a 9 to 12 month recovery time to return to sport, and we always give patients that range from 9 to 12 months. Some patients that are motivated are ready to return at 9 months, but some take up to 12, and that really depends on how well they rehab with their physical therapist and how quickly they can strengthen their quadriceps muscle and do some different testing to kind of make sure they're safe to return and they're not predisposing themselves to a subsequent ACL injury.
So tell me where your office is located, sir.
Yeah, so my office is located in Gainesville, in Medical Park 1. I see patients there off of Jesse Jewell. I'm there typically about 2 days a week in Gainesville, and then I also see patients in Dawsonville off of 400. And I'm usually in Dawsonville 1 day a week, and my remaining time I'm in the operating room usually.
My thanks to Dr. Rhett Mix for joining us here from NGPG Ortho and Sports Medicine. We got much more for you coming up next here on 97.5 Glory FM.
President of Duplicating Products, where we're proud to celebrate 50 years of serving North Georgia. Since 1974, Duplicating Products has been dedicated to providing top-quality office solutions and exceptional service. Our success would not have been possible without the support of our incredible community and loyal customers. Thank you for being an important part of our journey. Find out more about us at duplicatingproducts.com/thank you.
It's flu season in North Georgia, and now is the time to take care of yourself and get your flu shot at Riverside Pharmacy. Nobody wants to be hit with the flu bug, but if you haven't had your shot yet and you've been bitten with the flu, the pharmacists at Riverside Pharmacy in Gainesville can help you too. They can fill your prescription with expert care and have you up and going before you know it. And they're your headquarters for all of your over-the-counter needs. Riverside Pharmacy across the street from City Park, serving Gainesville for over 60 years.
Hey, it's Coach Mark Richt here. Everyone knows defense wins championships. And if you're not using EMC Security to defend your home and family, you need to step up your game. They're who I use for home security and cameras, and you should too. I've scouted them all, and there's no better choice. With EMC Security's no contract and local service, they are a clear number one. So give them a call or visit them online at emcsecurity.com. That's emcsecurity.com.
942 at 97.5 Glory FM. Back to the phones. We talk to our partner, Harper LaBelle, talking about Atlanta Falcons football this morning, but he's on the road once again. Hey, Harper.
Good morning, Mike. Yeah, Yahulah State Park, or not State Park, but where they play baseball. That's where I'm at.
And that's in Lumpkin County, and it's Gold Rush weekend. How's traffic?
Well, I was told by a very smart parent that says, take the side streets, go outside of the normal realm, and we got here in plenty of time. But, yeah, I know today is going to be a busy day here in Dahlonega.
Oh, no doubt about that. How's the weather this morning? Baseball weather?
It's not baseball weather. It's a little bit colder. I'm not going to put my toe in this little creek right here because I don't want to shiver too much.
You might lose it.
It's supposed to be in the lower 70s later on, high 60s. So beautiful day.
Yeah, right now our thermometer says, I'm laughing. It says 53 degrees. I'm laughing. Sure it is. Yeah, like it was last night at Lakeview. It was 53. No, it don't feel like it at all. You know.
Yeah, folks that don't know any better that are listening, Mike was off the air saying, there's no way it's 55. You got a little vocal about what the weather report was. You didn't believe it.
No, I still don't. From that standpoint, when Joe says he's cold, you know it's not 55, okay?
Yeah. Well, Joe had just had a T-shirt on pretty much and a pair of short sleeves. Yeah, it got a little chilly last night, but still a good football game, and Lakeside exciting to watch.
Yeah, Lakeview's a great team, but we'll be back with them. But we will not be back with you for a while because you're on the road for the next few weeks with Georgia State next Saturday in Boone, North Carolina. So you get a chance to enjoy the weekend at home and a little baseball there with your son. And then tomorrow, the Atlanta Falcons with Seattle. This is another game we can win?
Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah, here's the thing. What Atlanta has done now. Let me ask you first off: are you a little surprised at 4-2 right now? Was that above your early expectations for the Falcons this year?
Probably. I would.
Yeah,
I would, 3-3 maybe. Maybe I was 2-4, because of everything that has changed. But there was just so many expectations, weren't there?
Well, when you got Pittsburgh and Kansas City, and then you play Tampa,
Philadelphia,
and even the Saints, yeah, and then Philly on the road.
Mm-hmm.
4-2 is a pretty good place to be. I mean, it's not perfect by any means, but a lot of things that the Falcons have obviously worked on and corrected. There's still plenty of work to do, but I'm surprised at 4-2, pleasantly surprised, and 5-2 against a team that really doesn't defend against the rush very well. I'm going to be looking at that matchup. I don't know if Zach Robinson is going to start by trying to pound the ball up the middle with Algier to kind of soften up the defense with Seattle, or if he's going to start with play action. Hey, we look like we're going to run, but we're going to throw it over the top, and we're going to hit Pitts and London and Mooney and even Cordell Hodge to loosen up the run game. That's one of the few things that I'm looking at scouting-wise that will be an interesting challenge, especially early on for the Falcons to get moving early.
Yep, and be interested to see how they can defend Geno Smith.
Boy, what a career change that young man has had after a couple years in New York. I'll call that NFL purgatory.
Yes.
Because it seems like a lot of guys, when they come out of New York, their career is rejuvenated. They get a chance to shine, and they got the number one offense passing-wise in the league right now, and Geno Smith is obviously a big part of that. Keep your eyes on that number 14 guy. He can't miss DK Metcalf. He is something else, and he's not leading the league, but he's in the top in numerous categories, especially in the number of yards he has right now. He will be a beast, and I think he and A.J. Terrell will be very close friends by the end of the day.
You go back to the days, I guess, with Seattle when former Atlanta Falcons coach was coaching defense for them, and you just think about how good the defense is, but where are they now, you think?
Well, they've changed a lot. The Cam Chancellor, Richard Sherman, Wagner, and Calais Campbell era is over, and they're middle of the pack right now in terms of overall defense. They can play the pass pretty well, but I think they're 29th right now out of 32 teams against the rush.
Wow.
And we're in the top 10 in a lot of categories offensively. So that's why I brought up the running game, especially early on, is going to be a key part of it. And then Kirk wants to do that. Cousins has said on numerous occasions, he goes, I came here because we have a good running game, and I want to keep that going. It's not me passing. It's the run first, and if that's successful, boy, that opens up a lot of lanes for his passing attack. And he's not leading the league, but you know what? We're in the top 10, and I'll take it. I'll take it.
But isn't he much more effective when you have a really solid running game?
Oh, absolutely, especially as the weather changes. And if you can run in December and in early January outdoors, which I think the Falcons are pretty good at. They're not great, but, we couldn't run last year at Baltimore, or was it 2 years ago when we played out there, and it was colder than blazes. And Desmond Ridder, we get second and 8, third and 5, and then we'd have an incompletion after the punt anyways. But now I think the confidence in the offense, especially in the symmetry between the run and the pass game, is so much better right now. Hopefully we win enough games to where we don't have to worry about playing at Baltimore in January. But, if you can run the ball, especially later on in the year, you've got yourself an advantage that a lot of teams don't.
In the advance right now, how we're doing against the other teams in the division, going 3-0, and now we've already seen what Denver did against New Orleans the other night, and it's okay. We're in pretty good shape in the division.
Yeah, what a mess in New Orleans right now. I would not want to be a Houdat because they're self-destructing in terms of just Derek Carr's injury alone. How that's changed the team, and we're going to see Tampa next week. So we have the opportunity to be 4-0 in the division and undefeated in the conference if we win today and next week, and that puts us literally right now, Mike. We're number 2 in the conference. If the playoffs were today, and I know it's too early to talk about that, but we can have fun.
Sure.
Can't we? We can talk about it, you
Absolutely.
and I. Let's do it. We're number 2. So
we'll be number 1,
Detroit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
they're
good.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for whatever reason, I think the only loss the Vikings have. I'm sorry, the Vikings are number one. Detroit, we're tied with them, but we would win the tiebreaker because we have more conference wins.
Wow.
And that'll be a bit. Oh, what a great game that's going to be.
Oh, absolutely.
Minnesota hosting Detroit. Oh my gosh, who would have thought that a few years ago?
Well, and look at their quarterback situation now. And again, you got a quarterback who was one time in New York, now in Minnesota, and look how he's changed his life.
Isn't it interesting that we start the interview talking about the New York Jets? And Darnold is probably going to be comeback player of the year. He's certainly one of the favorites, and Jared Goff has certainly rejuvenated his career in Detroit, and they can run the ball. Gosh, they're a very, very good football team, and they both are. Minnesota has changed dramatically. They play defense better than what people think, and that's one of the keys. Falcons need to do that as well. I know we're running short on time. Real quick, I think it's Stone Forsythe. Keep that name in the back of your mind for Sunday.
Okay.
He is the right tackle for the Seahawks. They ranked 66 tackles in the NFL who have played, and Stone ranks 63rd out of the 66. I would expect Matthew Judon is going to have probably a very good day, and I hope he gets 2 sacks, but I think the over-under on him is 1.5. If Judon can get to Geno and wreak some havoc, I like my chances. Arnold Ebiketie as well. I'm not sure if Lorenzo's going to play. Carter had a concussion injury that he's still a little bit slow, and I think it'll be a game-time decision with him. But the other defensive ends, boy, I'd be licking my chops if I'm going against a tackle that isn't ranking as high as that guy is.
Yeah, good point. Now, wrap things up. You know how I make things so simple from the standpoint, oversimplified. From our high school game we saw last night, you saw in my mind Lakeview Academy played 48 minutes of just constant football from that standpoint. They had a couple of lapses, but for the most part, the 48 minutes they were there. The Atlanta Falcons need to play 60 minutes of that kind of football and not take some, plays off, it seems like, where the momentum was shifting, that kind of thing, just like we saw with State the other night, is that we're concerned about the running game. Running game gets back within the defense, has their lapses, and we get everything going all 3 phases of the game together. That's when you see the success, and I think we're going to see it with the Falcons.
Yeah, and they started out last week fast. They started out a couple weeks ago fast, scoring on your first drive. Even if you don't get it, you still score on your first drive, and you put the pressure on your opponent's offense, and that makes it easier for your defense. I thought it was a little close last week in the fourth quarter with the Falcons and Carolina, but they kind of pulled away there at the end. That touchdown, I think, the interception that A.J. Terrell had changed everything. The whole mood of the team went, okay, we got this. We're going to go march right down the field, which they did, and we're going to score, and then we're going to stop them again, and game over. And we haven't had a lot of those in Atlanta lately. So, yeah, starting out fast and having everybody pedal to the metal for as long as you can go, get through that first half and have a lead and then change things. And then the dynamic with the Dome is going to change as well. As we go 4-2, 5-2, maybe even 6-2, you get more fans. They get a little more rabid, and the trickle down off of that is amazing.
So many games you play today, one or several?
2. Yeah, we have 2 today and then 2 more tomorrow at least.
Okay, so you might make a chance to relax and enjoy Gold Rush.
Well, I'm close enough to the river here to where I might be panning for gold like Yukon Cornelius.
There you go.
I do that. Yeah, we'll see if we can't pay for the trip in a tank of gas by finding a couple of nuggets out here.
That's what it's going to take to, isn't it, from this standpoint. All right, Harper, thanks much. We appreciate it. We'll see you sometime soon, hopefully in the playoffs, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Look forward to it, Mike. Have a great day.
You too. Thanks, Buds. And we got much more for you coming up as we wrap things up with the Saturday Morning Sports Show here on 97.5 Glory FM.
Logistics' commitment is to provide you, the customer, with on-time pickup and delivery every time. Members of the Siphon family have been in the transportation business since 1984. The Siphon Logistics transportation professionals are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, providing maximum flexibility and options to produce the most successful shipping arrangements. Call Siphon Logistics at 770-287-8485 and take a look at their website at siphonlogistics.com.
Here I am on the road again, ready to pick up the kids from school, go by the grocery store, and do all the things a busy mother does. It's because I just left North Hall Tire and Wheel, where they made sure I was ready to go. They put on a fresh set of tires, checked the brakes, and even the battery. I know I can trust Mike and Matt and the guys at North Hall Tire and Wheel. They have everything you need, all the name brand tires at the best prices, and the service you need. They're on Cleveland Highway in Gainesville, so give them a call at 770-297-5308.
Almost 5 minutes now until 10 o'clock, 9:55 here at 97.5 Glory FM. Coming up at the top of the hour, it is world and national news from SRN. Then at 10:05, it is the Gospel Greats with Rodney Bonko. Next week on Friday Night Football in North Georgia, will be at East Hall High School as the Vikings take on the West Hall Spartans in our Region 8 AAA matchup. We'll be there with the Longstreet Cafe pregame show at 7:05. Gary Glenn, Joe Gailey, and I'll be there to bring you the play-by-play here on your home for North Georgia Sports, 97.5 Glory FM. I'll start things off at 6:05 with Game Plan, previewing all the games. We'll talk to the coaches and bring you my predictions with Wofford's winners coming up next Friday. And I did pretty good last night. I think I did everything. I got everything right with one ball game. And the one game that I lost was Lumpkin County and North Hall. Trojan fans, okay, Mike, why are you picking Lumpkin County to win? I thought Gold Rush might be the big incentive for them. Also, if they had won last night, it's been a three-way tie for first place in that region. But now North Hall is in the driver's seat. And the region standings right now, 6 AAA. North Hall is number 1. GAC is number 2. Lumpkin County, number 3. Dawson County, number 4. Chestatee is number 5 with a loss last night to the Tigers. And in that region, right now, next week, Lumpkin County plays at Dawson County. North Hall has a chance to wrap up the regular season region championship and the number 1 seed in the region with a win against Johnson next Friday night. And here's the thing about it. With the new playoff format in Class A, AA, and AAA, let's say North Hall wins next week, which they should, and be the region champions for the first time since 2012. Well, they would end up finding out they'd be either a number 1 to 8 seed. They could go as low as 8. It could go as high as number 1. Probably that's probably 6, 7, or 8 seed for the Trojans in the opening round. And it goes from 132, 231, 330, that kind of thing. And that's what's made it interesting, especially with the state playoffs in the other sports. Today, there is high school volleyball state playoff action continuing. A big matchup at Chestatee High as the Lady War Eagles take on the Lady Trojans of North Hall. Both of those teams won their opening round matches earlier in the week, and now because of the power rankings, they're playing each other. 2 teams in the same county, 2 teams in the same region, doing battle with the winner to advance on to the Elite 8 in the quarterfinal round of the state volleyball tournament coming up next week. And it's a best of 5 today between Chestatee and North Hall. You'll get out and see some exciting sports action with the girls playing today in high school volleyball state playoff action. The Class AAA tournament taking place at Chestatee High today. Now, also yesterday in high school softball action, we had some local teams advancing on. One of those, Lumpkin County, swept their doubleheader with Jefferson, and the Lady Indians will play a third deciding game against the Lady Dragons to see who advance on to the Elite 8 in that tournament. Also in Class AAA play, the White County Lady Warriors went down south. They had to travel to Cairo yesterday, and they won both ends of their doubleheader, and they're heading to the next round of the state playoffs. In fact, it'll be the Sweet 16 round. Should say Sweet 16 round of the state playoffs. It's the first round in softball from yesterday. Also, yesterday, North Hall won both of their games against Howard, a team out of the Macon area. They won 2 straight games, 15-0, 15-0 in 3 innings. You heard from Jody Kinney last night, the final score. In one of those games, North Hall scored 14 runs in 1 inning. Genesis Satterfield had a grand slam home run as part of that 14-run inning from that standpoint. So we got high school softball to talk about, high school football, and high school volleyball. A lot going in high school cross country. Have their state championship coming up in a couple of weeks. That'll do it for the Saturday Morning Sports Show here on 97.5 Glory FM. Hey, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel at Team Glory Sports, and make sure you like our channel and be a part of it here on 97.5 Glory FM.